ഇതാണ് വൈൽഡ് ഏഷ്യ ബംഗാളി എക്സ്പ്രസ് ദ ജംഗിൾ വേൾഡ്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു ട്രെയിനിൽ കയറിയാൽ നമുക്ക് എല്ലാ ആനിമൽസിനെയും കാണാൻ പറ്റും.
ഫുഡ് കൊടുത്തു
ക്യാമൽ. ഓ മയിൽ. ഇവിടെ ഫുഡ് കോർട്ടും അവിടെ ഒരു ക്യാമലിനടുത്ത് ഫുഡ് കോർട്ടാണ്. ഇവിടെ ഫുഡ് കഴിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ജംഗിൾ വേൾഡ്. നാട്ടിലെ വാഴ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ ഗൈസ്? ബംഗാളി എക്സ്പ്രസ് ട്രെയിനിൽ കയറാനായിട്ട് പോവുകയാണ്. നമുക്ക് ട്രെയിനിൽ കയറിയിട്ടുള്ള വിശേഷങ്ങൾ കാണാം. കയറുന്നിടത്ത് ടിക്കറ്റ് കാണിക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ ടിക്കറ്റ്
I'm Jim Mahaney. I'm the director of the Bronx Zoo, and today we're in our amphibian propagation center in the room that houses our Kahansi spray toe collection. The Kahansi spray toe was an amphibian extinct in the wild. The Bronx Zoo went to Tanzania and collected snow
It's really balanced. Mom, we're supposed to be on a level. Mommy, you have to follow. It will show you
You guys can sit on the left side for me, please.
The monorail. The monorail, which opened in 1977, travels 2.2 miles around a 43-acre habitat for Asian species. It's home to our greater one-horned rhinos, elephants, gaur, tigers, and many more amazing animals. Each year, over 500,000 guests board the monorail and travel throughout Asia while never leaving the Bronx. We want to thank you for being here today and taking part in our milestone celebration, and we invite you back again to be part of our future efforts in our mission to save animals around the world. And now, enjoy the ride. Final seats and watch the closing doors. Good afternoon, Bronx Zoo explorers, and welcome aboard the Wild Asia Monorail and to the Bronx Zoo's 125th birthday celebration. My name's Hank. I'll be your tufted tour guide and monorail driver. Today I'll be your guide and you will be our field scientists in training. Once we cross the Bronx River, we'll be transported to Asia as if by magic. There we'll visit animals from China to India, Cambodia to Nepal, and more. For your safety and the safety of others, please remain seated at all times with your hands and feet, cameras and phones, hooves and antlers inside the train. Here at the Bronx Zoo are the headquarters of the Wildlife Conservation Society, or WCS. We have scientists and eco-guards working in the field and zookeepers working right here at home to protect animals all over the world. I will point out animals as we approach them, but I'll need your help. Scientists and zookeepers need excellent observation skills to learn about animals' behaviors and ensure their health. We have now traveled over 7,000 miles and arrived in Asia. This first area here is called the Kanha Meadow. We got 4 types of deer and 1 type of antelope in this meadow. Almost everybody is up on the top of the hill to our left, but don't worry, we'll pass that into the meadow later on in the tour. I'll be sure to slow the train down, talk as fast as I can, and point out everyone to you. In the meantime, coming up here on the right of the train, as we come around the curve, you're going to see 3 large deer sitting here in the shade, including a male with an impressive rack of antlers. These are our Bactrian deer. Bactrian deer are a subspecies of red deer, although as you can see, They are not red. They're kind of that pale gray gold color. Bactrian deer's numbers in the wild were hard to monitor due to unrest in the areas that they call home. But recently, a WCS researcher was able to confirm that Bactrian deer do still exist in the wild in Afghanistan after not being seen for nearly 40 years. Now, we all know that a species that is extinct no longer exists, like the dodo or the dinosaur. The next animal we're going to see was on the verge of extinction. In fact, the Mongolian wild horse, or Przewalski's horse, was extinct in nature, meaning they could only be found in zoos. But recently, there have been some reintroductions of the Mongolian wild horse to several areas of Mongolia and China, from herds right here in North America and Asian zoos. And as we pull into their area, the Mongolian wild horses are all clustered right here for us to see. Keep your eyes peeled, folks. There's a foal out there. That's a baby horse. He's about 4 months old. He's standing there to the right of the herd next to his mother. Now, you might notice some differences between these horses and the domestic horses you're used to seeing. They got a stockier build, shorter legs, and check out that mane. They got that erect mane. It kind of looks like a mohawk. I guess you could say that they are genetically awesome. I'm going to hand it off now to one of our scientists in the field. It's Jonathan. He's going to...
Northeast Asia coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth, and my job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Przewalski's about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories, to watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today in Przewalski's horse.
We got our first animals here in 1902, and to date we've had over 50 Mongolian wild horse foals born right here at the Bronx Zoo, including the one you saw today. Now, at first we did not know if that foal was a colt or a filly. That's a male or female. Over the last few weeks it's become fairly obvious. We've got a little colt on our hand. Now, we'll have no trouble spotting our next animal, as they are the world's largest wild cattle. I'm talking about our gaur. That's G-A-U-R, gaur, also known as Indian bison. A male gaur can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. That's as much as a small car. He can stand up to 6 feet tall and be up to 10 feet long. With his impressive size and sharp horns, a male gaur can fight off just about anything, even a tiger. Gaur were highlighted on season 3 of the Zoo on Animal Planet, which is available for streaming. The gaur are spread out up here from right opposite us on the train up to the right. You'll see them all as we catch up. And in the meantime, I'm going to hand it off to one of our zookeepers. It's Dave. He's got more for you about the gaur.
Hi, I'm Dave,
Hi,
a
Dave.
wild animal keeper here in Wild Asia. When the Bronx Zoo received 2 female and 1 male gaur from the San Diego Zoo, it took a couple of introductions before all the animals were comfortable. But after a little bit of time, the 3 new animals fully integrated into the herd, and we have the family that you see today. A family group of gaur can consist of up to 40 individuals and is typically led by an older adult female called the matriarch. Since the 2 females and 1 male have been added to this family, there have been a number of offspring. This is important because gaur are considered to be a vulnerable species, so it's vital to maintain a healthy growing herd here at the zoo.
Interesting note about the gaur: if you've ever seen a can of Red Bull, that's 2 gaur on that can of Red Bull butting their heads together. What's up, my man? Now, so far, I seriously do appreciate it. Male Amur tiger, it's Anakin. He's up there at the top of the hill, kind of walking in the same direction as the train. Anakin finally has the high ground. Good for you, Anakin. There are 2 types of tigers we have here at the Bronx Zoo, Malayan and Amur. Amur is the larger of the 2 species, also known as Siberian tiger. Tigers are solitary animals and live alone in the wild. That's why you'll only see one of them in this exhibit at a time. He's got all this area to himself, and that's just the way he likes it. Tigers hunt a variety of different animals, but prefer medium-sized deer and wild boar. A tiger will gorge itself on a fresh kill, eating up to 40 pounds of meat at one time. That's the equivalent of 160 hamburgers in one sitting. Show of hands, who thinks they can eat 160 hamburgers in one sitting? You got an honest train. All right, well, someone there is brave. Honestly, I would probably be done after 2. After a meal that size, the tiger will usually not eat again for several days. You can see more tigers here at the Bronx Zoo by visiting Tiger Mountain. Have a nice afternoon, Anakin. May the Force be with you. And as we bid a fond farewell to Anakin, we'll be passing through the back of the Gower exhibit. And then as we pass this tree line here in the back of the Gower exhibit, we're going to be in the upper half of that Kanha meadow. Gathered out in the middle there in the shade, you'll see several kind of smaller light brown animals. Those are black buck antelope. There's a dark brown one out there with horns. That's the male. Black buck antelope are dimorphic, meaning that the males and females appear differently from each other. And as we come down the hill here, if you look to the right, you'll see 2 different type of deer here against the fence. The spotted deer is an axis deer, and those 2 other deer on either side of him, those are Barasingha deer. Barasingha deer, also known as swamp deer, because they'll hang out in the swamps of India to stay cool. Now the next animal we're going to see blends in well with the muddy area. He's up here to the right of the train, and the second area over there. We'll catch up with her in just a minute. Asian elephants can weigh up to 10,000 pounds. To maintain that kind of weight, they got to eat a lot of vegetation. Patty can eat up to 200 pounds of hay each day and drink up to 60 gallons of water. Now we pamper our elephants here at the Bronx Zoo. They get baths and pedicures. Just last week I saw Patty put her feet through that fence over there. They got a big old pile. They filed down her toenails. Be sure to compliment her on them when you see her. Now take a good look at her trunk if you can. An elephant's trunk's got 40,000 muscles in it, and it's an incredible tool. Patty also has a small finger-like attachment at the end of her trunk. With that small finger, she can gently pick up a single blade of grass or an apple, or she can use all 40,000 of those muscles and pull down a tree branch with tremendous force. Have a nice afternoon, Patty. Referring to this very rare animal is one thing, but breeding is entirely another. Do we have any moms on the train today here at the Bronx Zoo, including Patrick? And as we clear the trees here, you're going to see the 2 rhinos there on the top of the hill. On the on the left side behind Patrick is Priya. Closer to the train is Patrick. Patrick is Priya's son. Many people think that rhino skin is tough, but it's actually very sensitive and requires protection from the sun and insects. One of a rhino's favorite ways to protect its skin is to sit in a mud wallow, like we see in the back of the exhibit here. That's a mud wallow, not the rhino. 4 types of deer and 1 type of antelope. Starting with the smallest deer we'll see, that'll be the hog deer. The hog deer get their name because, well, they kind of resemble a hog. It's Formosa. Unfortunately, you will only see Formosan sika deer in a zoo, as they are extinct. Looking for our sambar deer. Sambar deer are the largest deer species in Southeast Asia. Male sambar deer can stand up to 5 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh up to 650 pounds. And finally, we'll be looking for our Nilgai antelope. Good today, ladies. There's a couple more of the Formosan sika deer hanging out here in front of the train. Now, it might be hard to spot our next animal. At less than 40 pounds, the giant around the curve at the end of the hill here. And that's the male. You can see his tusks. Over the Bronx River. Thousands of commuters cross this waterway every day, but underneath their highways and our elevated tracks, the river rushes along, providing a habitat for ducks, turtles, fish, and migrating birds. Look downstream, you'll see the bridge we came over to start the tour. And if you look carefully in the water, sometimes you'll see the outlines of fish or turtles. Now, the rocky terrain in this next area is a perfect environment for our next 2 species. We're looking for our mountain goats, and we've got our Himalayan tahr and our markhor. Folks, I've slowed the train down now. When we pull into the area, look under the train here, and then opposite, you'll see a tree over the base of the tree. You're going to see a male markhor. And position, the only way to get up and down out of that tree is to jump. Now you see the male markhor sitting at the base of the tree. He is easy to spot. He's got those long curly horns. He's got a mane of hair around his neck and a chin that kind of resembles your monorail drivers. The female markhor also has a hairy chin, but she does not have that mane of hair, and her horns are much shorter. There are also several kids on the rocks, and they are excellent rock climbers. They are also excellent jumpers, straight up in the air from a standing position. Another female markhor. Watch them play King of the Mountain. Several more male markhor there on the left. A couple of females. But sadly, experts here in the field and trying out some of your own science skills while on this ride. We hope you've been inspired by what you've heard and seen today. Remember, the Bronx Zoo is part of the Wildlife Conservation Society, or WCS. In addition to managing 5 parks in New York City, the Bronx Zoo, the Central Park Zoo, the Queens Zoo, the Prospect City Aquarium, the WCS also has scientists in the field at more than 300 sites in over 60 countries.